And that was Hidden Colors from Broadside right here on In the Pit, Penn's Peak Radio. It is Kara in the studio with you this evening. And tomorrow night, well, tomorrow, just in general, one of the most highly anticipated albums of the summer, at least on my standpoint, is going to be released. Paradise by Broadside will finally be released tomorrow. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been counting down the days. Lucky enough, I've got the lead vocalist himself. I got Ollie on the phone with me tonight. How are you doing tonight, Ollie?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great now that I'm chatting with you.
I'm flattered. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so I'm assuming you're freaking out. You're so close to the release. I'm assuming you just want it out for people.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't so bizarre, I would just leak the damn album myself, just let them have it, and take it, rip it apart, or enjoy it. But, you shouldn't do that probably if you're trying to be an up-and-coming type situation, Apparently, who knows?
Who's to say?
Yeah.
So, have you been, listening to it over and over yourself, or did you, listen to it once, okay, I can't do it anymore, I just have to wait?
Well, that's the hilarity of it, is that you write the album, and then you sit back, and then you evaluate it, and then you have to then tell the producer and whoever is amongst your circle, your inner circle, this is what I like, this is what I want to change, and then, everybody's got to listen to it, and then they're like, all right, cool, now let's turn this into a physical thing, and then you listen to that again, and then you get the physical item, you listen to that. So at this point, I am over the new Broadside record. I'm ready to write the new one, but I'm excited because I know that people, just from my internet following, or my friend, even some of my closest friends, and not all of my family, but I know they're excited to hear it. They're wondering if I still have the same daddy issues, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm excited to just release it.
Definitely. Well, let's take it back for the people because it's coming out in a few hours. When did you start writing this album?
So we started writing the album right before, or I would say a couple months after Warped Tour, and we were overwhelmed with a lot of emotions, both good and bad, after we did the entire tour. And so we were I started jotting down some thoughts, some words, some feelings that I was going through. There's actually a song on the album called Summer Stained, and it's all about the post-Warped Tour depression. And though it sounds sort of childish in a sense, it's the idea that I think everyone can relate to it, whether you are a fan of music or performing or a crew or working it. You get this validation every single day when you go to Warped Tour. And there was a point where I was like, all right, well, I know today I'm going to see hundreds and hundreds of people, whether they're watching us perform or I get the opportunity to try to persuade them to buy a $10 CD, whatever it is, and then you come home to an empty apartment. And it sounds cynical because I live in Los Angeles, and it sounds dreamlike, but you're still isolated, you're still lonely, and you're not getting that validation anymore. So there's songs like that on the record that I'm really excited for people to hear because they're honest, they're just dressed up in a summer pop ballad, So it'll be easy on the ears, but then I feel like the people that want to dive in, it's there for them, and I think that's perfect dance for some people,
Yeah.
All the art weirdos in the world will appreciate it.
Hey, I'm one of those weirdos. I love it. Your old album, it's just great to listen to the first time, but then when you dive in, you're like, wow, damn, what?
yeah, whoa, he said that, and that's the thing is this album is more about the fan base and the people that I feel aren't very well represented in this day and age and the time we are, with whatever your political beliefs are, what have you. It's a slight taking a stance without being hey kids, you gotta do punk rock. This is more hey, you should probably question and value the time that you do have. That's the whole vibe,
Yeah. Well, for the vibe of the album, did you kind of have a concept of what you wanted to write towards?
We sorted it in the sense that we came up with the album title before anything, and the idea was, why did Niles and myself, why did we move across the country? Why did we, chase our paradise? Why did we do that sort of thing? And it was the idea of just perseverance. We've always been about that sort of idea and promoting that lifestyle. And so that was the thing, it's like a vagabond dream. Let's just pack everything and go to the coast, man.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it's a lot more busy here, but I think that's something that people need to be reminded that just because they're in their current state, whether it's mentally or physically, you really do have the willpower and freedom to just get the hell out of the situation, if you want that.
Yeah. You said you found out that title before you wrote the song?
Yeah, well, we figured out that title before we wrote the album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's base it around this concept, like paradise, and paradise being, when we heard that, we were like, all right, it's an elegant word, like we can do some nice stuff with it, with the tails on the letter P. I told you, man, we're weird. All right, we could do some stuff like that. And then I was like, that'd be cool. And then I was like, what if we metaphored it? And it's the idea of paradise being in your head and not just like, oh, I'm, drinking mimosas on the beach or whatever your idea of paradise might be. Like, we metaphored it. And then it was like, boom. Yeah. Single words, metaphor, neon sign, palm trees. Boom, we're good.
Well, I have a feeling that you're going to see people have the lyric, 'cause life is what happens when you're too afraid to climb, like, tattooed on them. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't already.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I haven't yet. I've seen a lot of Broadside tattoos, but I've only seen one like paradise tattoo, and I think that's so rad that like people are like, yeah, I'm just gonna get the word paradise tattoo. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Like, you could hate Broadside in 3 years and still have a dope tattoo. So
exactly. That's cool. They have to talk about it though. They'll have to talk about it.
I'm stuck with you forever.
Exactly. So yeah, we've gotten to hear a few songs from the album, and if that's anything like what the rest of Paradise is like, dear God, are we in for some hits, especially some summer hits for this album. Out of the remaining songs, I know we're all excited to hear the rest of it, but is there a certain song that stands out to you that you're really excited for fans to hear?
Yeah, there's a song called I Love You, It's Disgusting, and it's the last track of the album. And I don't want to say too much, but it's completely different than anything we've ever written, and it is just a straight-up ukulele song. Like, that's just super bizarre. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. Very raw, this song.
You just got me so pumped.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
The vibe, and we were like, let's keep it. Like, who cares? Like, let's put stuff in there that, like, people were like, oh, it'd be sick if they did that. Well, we did that, And some people are like, what? I can't mosh to a ukulele song. And the thing is you can if you try.
Exactly.
You can.
Everyone just needs to try. I mean, with genres blurring right now and everything that's been released lately in 2017, which has been insane with, like, the music. And I think anyone can do anything right now.
It's a beautiful and also terrible thing, man. Like, I love the blurring of the genres, but at the same time, I also hate that it's making people be like, oh, this isn't this and this, and the reality is nothing anymore. Like, you're seeing like I listen to a lot of hip hop and rap, and in that world, you're seeing just the blend of just EDM and like rock music as it's been approaching in like hip hop world for years, and now it's like, especially living out here in LA, it's like there is no subgenres and genres. It's just music, and it's super crazy, man. I'm excited though, because I'm hoping the reason why we wrote the record like this is a lot of people are like, oh, they want more pop, whatever. The reality is we wanted to be more marketable because we're bigger than a genre. We're not bigger than the world. We're not bigger than any other band, but we want to do more. Like, I would love to work with artists that, a yelling type record or whatever couldn't really get us, because we're artists at the end of the day. You can't forget that.
Well, so for that instance, when you were writing the music for this album, were you thinking in your head, okay, when you put the song list together, the way the tracks are going to be laid out, did you look at it saying, okay, this blends together, or did you just be like, okay, these songs are one-on-one, people are just going to get hit by them the way they are? Yeah,
we definitely considered how it would be heard sonically. Like, we were like, okay, so how are we going to start the album down to, like, the record ends on a very romantic, slow kind of vibe, and it's one of those things where we're hoping they'll, like, whomever hear this record, they listen to it, and at the very end, they're like, well, I need to restart now, that there's no skipping point. And that's something we did with Old Bone, too, is we try not to have any songs that you skip, because eventually, you listen to a record, or anyone like me, you listen to a record front to back, and then if it sucks, you'll know because you're going to skip one of the tracks. But if you find yourself not skipping, I think that's key. Like, that's how I was raised listening to music, and some of my favorite records are just track 1 through 10 or 1 through 12, whatever. And we tried to give that experience when putting together this record. It's not too like, all right, here's aggression, and it slows down. It's literally like starts off middle, about third or fourth way, it goes up to the top, then it comes back down to the middle. You got some low end, you got some middle ground, and then it ends on a decline. So you're like, okay, cool. That was the journey.
That's awesome. Oh, God, you have me so excited for this album. I can't even stop. Well, so
man, I hope you're not like, this sucks.
No, never. Are you kidding? No, I remember myself as, teen years being like, okay, I listen to everything, but you were picky. But now, like, in your 20s, you're like, okay, I understand the music world now, and I understand where artists are coming from, definitely.
Exactly.
So when you were writing this album, obviously different than Old Bones, what did you take from that process, and what did you want to change this time around?
So, the guys, they write all the music, and then I just kind of sit back and I suggest things, and then I write all the lyrics and melody and shit. And so we sat back and we were like, okay, let's take the term paradise, really drive that home. Let's add in elements like slide guitar, ukulele, whimsical kind of vibes. I tried to mention the word paradise as many times as I could. It's mentioned in a couple songs, sometimes in an awesome way, sometimes in a really sad way.
Okay.
And I think that's cool because there's nothing like double use of words. That's like one of my favorite things about writing anything, poetry, what have you. It's just, I love using the same word for two things. So, that was a big thing. But we wanted to really hone in the fact that Old Bones was about, my perspective, a lot about my life and my friends and the people and the lovers that I was with. But now this record, there's only like one song on the album that's about me, and the rest is more in reflection of people I met on Warped Tour, fans that we have, young women that I've met through telling me their stories, and they feel empowered. Like my baby sister, she's like a young person and going to shows on her own now. And it's terrifying because she's impressionable and she's 20, and so all the stories are about that kind of vibe.
Okay.
It's their stories, my words, for them, and I think it's nice to be able to say that now and not sound like stuck up jerk, and like some people would say that and be like, oh, you think you can just meh. But the best thing about art is that it's just a manipulated form of someone else's story. The best thing is that it's not plagiarism if you're stealing. It's not plagiarism if you are making it your own and then reflecting it for the people, not taking from the people and using it against them. So, and I think that's where the two, oppose one another. So with this record, it's for the people that have found themselves to us organically. Yeah. We're just one of those bands who hustled our way through Warped Tour and talked to people, and we didn't know how to say no to people, so we'd find ourselves standing in the sun for 3.5 hours just meeting people, even if they just wanted a photo and not a conversation, because that matters to us. And to some people, they're bigger than that, but we're not. So, I don't know. In that time, I got the opportunity to talk to a lot of people and see why they even like us in the first place, and that's what inspired me for this record.
From you saying that, it just sounds to me like it's a record for your fans, but also a way to like, hey guys, come check this out. We're not whatever you think we are. We just want to hang out. It's like a hangout record.
It's exactly it. Like, I know that this record is not going to be like, this record changed my life. But if someone says, whoa, the idea of these people who are very human inspired me to go and do X, Y, Z, that to me is empowering, because we get off to the idea of inspiring people and motivating people. And, I didn't go to college, or else I would have been like a teacher in some formation. So life is blessed me with the opportunity to, I don't know, speak to young people. I think that's rad, because the stuff that I am saying, it's the sort of thing that I would and did hear from my favorite musicians back in the day, whether they were popular or not. They shaped me as a human and as an artist, and I'm grateful. And I'll never have the opportunity to talk to those people because the internet was just not as poppin' as it is now. And so, I don't know, I keep that in consideration to not give myself away 100%. But at the same time, sometimes you just gotta, I hate when people are like, let them fail and let them fall. Like, that's an absolute necessity, but at the same time, you gotta guide the way. The young people are the future. And that's just the way it is across any platform. And that's why all these major corporations and And companies spend so much time and so much money exploiting them and trying to get them to consume their product. Well, with this record, it was just kind of like, hey, I know I'm not going to make $1 million off this, but I do need to say to you, it's okay to think for yourself. It's okay to value your friends. It's okay to overcome boundaries. It's okay to just drop people in your life because they treat you terribly and you can't admit that, and move across the country so you can find fulfillment in life because it's so temporary. Yeah. And I know this record isn't going to be, it's a stamp on time right now, 2017 summer, after this election, after everything we're going through, all the movements that are surfacing. That's just what it is. It sounds deep, but it's really not. It's just people don't want to talk about certain things.
I also think like people forget that it's people. Like corporations forget that they're people also. Like we're all going technically through the same thing. It's just how you look at it.
Yeah, it's rad. There's some one-liner. So again, me coming from like a hip hop and like rap background, I love to write one-liners because I think that's what you have to do. So a lot of my lyrical content is just line after line after line. It's not like build up to the one line. It's just boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. And like we have a song that's like it's just talking about this new wave of like YouTube sensation, internet profit type deals, and it's like, is it offensive? Yeah, maybe to these false advertising, bloggers in the world, but it's not offensive to the people who reflect on themselves at night and they say, damn, I'm young, but I'm not as successful, as beautiful, as talented or whatever, because they think that's what they're supposed to feel.
Yeah.
That's the big idea that I promote, and I just promoted it all along this tour with Real Friends, is you're supposed to feel incomplete, and that's how they sell you on that bullshit scheme. Mm-hmm. And that's really how I feel. Maybe because I'm older and I'm bitter that these 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds driving Mercedes out there with money. Exactly, and I get that. But at the same time, I'll take the opposite role, and I'll just be like, hey, you can be successful without having to fake it.
Yeah.
You got to work for it. You got to work hard. You got to sweat. You got to cry. You got to feel. And that's what it is. But, again, elegantly dressed along to a summer album. So, if you don't want to think about those things, just put it on and jam and chill. But if
Sit
you want
back,
it,
have a drink.
But when the winter comes, there you go.
Yeah. God, this album is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Remember, guys, I'm talking with Ollie of Broadside. Their new album, Paradise, comes out tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys. Midnight. Get it. How can people get this album?
So it is on Apple Music. Okay. It's on Spotify. I think there's a link there. I don't have Spotify, but I think you can get there. It'll be streaming, obviously. Mm-hmm. You can, get it off of our website, victorymerch.com/broadside, or I'm sure we'll be just blowing it out of the water. Hey, you guys can get it here, you can get it here. But I have this sick idea, right? I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I'll say it. I have this really cool idea where people get the album and they like put it on repeat when they go to bed, and they just put it on mute. So then it just like does well.
Oh.
It gets on like the iTunes charts.
Yo, that's so smart.
That's my goal. I'm gonna tweet it out. Yeah.
People just need to like leave their computers at home, play it all day, and just go do something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing. Is like, there's hardly any money in music anymore. Mm-hmm. But it would be so sick to just go on iTunes charts and be like, oh, look at us right next to Michael Bublé and U2 or whatever.
I'm gonna do it for you.
Just for a day.
Every computer, every device I have, I'm just gonna have it repeating nonstop.
The next day, you just hate the album.
No, never. I can't listen to this for another year. I can't do it. Oh.
Yeah, right? Oh.
Anyways, moving on. You guys just got off an insane tour. Real Friends, Have Mercy, Tiny Moving Parts. Talk about a phenomenal tour lineup. It was insane.
Are you kidding me? Like, it was depressing leaving that tour. Like, I've never been on a tour where every band was unreal.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. I was blown away by the talent of all those bands.
Yeah, I got to see you guys actually in Philly on this run. And after another. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot leave. This is so good. But when you guys played Coffee Talk, I swear to God, I thought the roof was going to blow out.
Yeah, that was so scary.
Like, watching the crowd, you guys could have sworn that you were the main act. It was absolutely incredible performance.
We love the East Coast because, back in the day when we were first starting out, like, we could only afford, like, weekend tours. So we would just go to Philly, New York, New Jersey, and then VA, our hometown at the time. Yeah. So it's cool to go there now and be like, hey...
Remember us?
And yeah, they love us still, and thing is, like, Philly, Baltimore, and Boston, they're such incredible, passionate cities that it's really nice to just have all that energy just released in a room of chaos, especially at a show. It's not even a hard show, but it was going nuts, especially on, like, a song about, like, young lovers.
Exactly. Well, what does the rest of touring for 2017 look for you guys?
So we just announced we have 2 headliners coming up in August on the East Coast. One of those is with a band called Issues and Wage War. Issues and Wage War. And then, so that's going to be really well, because that's in our hometown, so it's just going to wreck.
Yeah.
And then we're headlining this, like, pop-punk festival on the East Coast with a couple of locals, and that should be fun. But so we have that going on, and we're figuring out, like, fall stuff right now. And then I know we're going to try to figure out a headliner for the album, because we've actually never done a headliner. Really? We're lazy, and we like to wait till the last minute, so we should probably do that.
I don't want to deal with, like, all the logistics. Just put me on a tour.
Yeah, like, I'll open in the parking lot. I don't want to deal with all the, like, just important stuff.
Yeah. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how you guys are nominated for an APMA's award this year.
Hey,
Best Underground Band. What?
I know. What? Exactly. It's so insane. When we heard, we were, like, filming the Paradise music video. Okay. And they're like, we got an email. Like, hey, guys, you're nominated. They're announcing tomorrow. I was like, what's that? It's me. That's, like, the music. That's like the MTV Awards back in the day. So I don't even care if we win. I just want to be there, and I want to see Indy Black again in person. He's so hot.
Yeah. So you guys are going to be there?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be there. We have that show the 15th in Richmond, and I think we're just going to head over because it's the 17th. So we'll be there chilling, and we have some super stiff competition, like our boys in WithCon and a band called Knock Loose. They're unreal.
Hey, but I look at it this way. You guys are, like, the first, because you're a B, you're, like, the first band up, so that might be...
Just hope that people like, I'm bored.
Yeah. But how can...
Whatever it takes.
How can people still vote for you guys? Because they still can, right?
Yeah. So you go to altpress.com and then /vote. And then it's like a little, you get to vote for all the people, and then Best Underground Band. And then if you click Broadside and click Next, they send, like, $37 and 12 nickels to your PayPal account. That may or may not be true, but
we'll believe it. Everyone, go vote for them.
Yeah, please. Allpress.com/vote, and then Best Underground Band. It could be Broadside. I don't know. All I'm saying is, it would be awesome to buy suits like Dumb and Dumber and go on stage and collect an award. That's all I'm saying.
You guys totally should do that. Oh, yeah. So guys, vote for them. Buy the album, and then automatically vote for them. That's what you should do.
Yeah, that little process would only take you, like, 7 minutes, and then it costs you, like, $10 for the album. So really, that's like lunch at Chipotle with guac. You're good.
Perfect. There we go. Sounds perfect. So I think for bands, well, for people in general, it's healthy to have goals as stepping stones and not become stagnant. What were the first goals that you had for Broadside?
First goals when we first started. Oh, so before being signed or after?
Yeah. Like when you guys first got together, what was your first thing in your head? Like, where did you want to go?
We wanted to have really cool merch. Okay. I remember that. I remember being like, I would love to either go to Goodwill in my hometown or see kids at other, like, popular shows wearing Broadside shirts, and that has happened, and I think that's super rad. And then I know that we wanted to play Warped Tour. That's like the goal, and we just did that. So I think the next goal would be to play Warped Tour again and play, like, a big stage, and people to be like, oh, I love this band, because, like, they loved it at Warped Tour, but a lot of it was like, oh, I heard that one song on the internet, and I'm going to check you out now, which is so sick. But it'd be cool to go there and have, like, a loyal, like, oh, I love this band, like, this is going to be much fun.
So, like, main stage.
Like, main stage Broadside with, like, 10 million people losing their mind, Kool-Aid raining from the air. Just a perfect day,
That's awesome. I want to see that happen for you guys. I want to see so much happen for you guys. You guys deserve it. You're killing it. You deserve all the success, and I cannot wait for Paradise to be released.
Honestly, thank you so much. I'm incredibly nervous and excited. But I think even though I'm, like, a deep artsy weirdo. I feel like people on the surface level are going to be like, hey, this is cool. This is a cool record, because I need them to. That's why
That's why you play music.
I think it'll be fun. Yeah, exactly. I need this so bad. No, it's an easygoing record. I'm excited for people to have it, because the best thing about it is that it's so different. So if its sole purpose is to just be different than Old Bones, I'm very cool with that.
So last thing up, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, how can people check you out?
So yeah, we're on Instagram and Twitter primarily. So it's just Broadside Official on Instagram, and then just Broadside on Broadside. I think we changed the Twitter recently, but if you type in Broadside, you'll see it. We have the Paradise logo and everything like that. But those are our primary. We're of course on Facebook and that sort of thing. But really, if you want any sort of information, go to our Twitter. We're always tweeting. We just love the internet. So
awesome. Well, Ollie, thank you so much for chatting with me today. We're all super excited for this release of Paradise Tomorrow and the prominent future of the band in front of you guys.
I thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Anytime. I definitely will. You guys have anything upcoming, let me know. I would be loving to get it out on the station for you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we're going to end it with the title track. Ollie, if you want to introduce this song for us.
Absolutely. Hey guys, this is Ollie from Broadside, and this is our title track, Paradise, off of our album, Paradise. Bow, bow, bow!